Without further ado, I believe it is that time to get into our Monday feels with being motivated by Jabu Zwane. Let's take a listen.
Yes, good evening and welcome to Monday Motivation. Yes, my name is Jabu Zwane. You see my screen there, be a bit more in the middle. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Just trying. Here we go. Much better. Apologies about that. Just want to make sure that I am looking at the right screen. I'm right in the middle. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend and you have another great weekend ahead of you. Yes, this morning we are continuing still on the issue of branding. I wanted to speak about the importance of building your brand value today, because you know what? As they say in business, it really is about how people feel about your business, most of the time, more than even the quality of your product. So before anybody comes to know about your business, comes to know about you, or gets to experience you rather, they would know something about you before time. And so that's why I want to speak about that this evening. So in today's very highly competitive and rapidly evolving world, it is important for us to learn to adapt, because if you don't adapt, we're going to find ourselves in a lot of trouble. We can think of so many brands that have disappeared from the face of the earth, even though at one point they were the most incredible brands. But it is those brands that have been able to adapt throughout time, that have been able to stay afloat, that have been able to thrive, that have been able to at least withstand the test of time. So the one part about that is, of course, about brand differentiation. When people are making choices about the type of service that you're offering, how do you ensure that you stand out? How do you ensure that they will think of you? How do you ensure that you're at least among one of the choices? Now, in this day and age, where everybody's online, where everybody's constantly searching, we know that online shopping is increasing at a very fast rate. Up to these days, more than 55% of purchases are currently being made online. South Africa has just had Amazon land onto South Africa, competing with the likes of Takealot, with the likes of big daily deals, and many other platforms that are currently thriving online. But at the very same time, you don't necessarily have to be a massive brand. You can still be a small brand, a small business person, and at least be able to find some kind or create some kind of footprint online. Okay, so it's important to think about that. Differentiation, how can you be able to do that? Think about a brand like, for example, Tesla, a brand that has differentiated itself as an electric vehicle, even though it wasn't the first one to do so. Before there was Tesla, Mercedes-Benz had done that, Audi had already done that, and many other powerful brands had already done that. Just give me a second, if you don't mind. Just want to quickly fix something here. Sorry about that. I just needed to manage the background noise. I do apologize for that. That's the challenge with doing this online. Sometimes you cannot help but have those interruptions, and I do apologize for that. Okay. So a brand like Tesla has distinguished itself as an electrical brand that does incredible things. Now, if you're thinking about, let's say, some of the struggles with some of the television brands, a lot of them that are doing extremely well, of course, they are doing what we're doing now, which is offering possibility for people to watch online, being on social media, creating their own online platforms where people are not confined only to, of course, the TV licenses. Now, what I want you to think about is that part of differentiation is that how can you create customer loyalty? It's very difficult to create customer loyalty if you don't know exactly what your customers want in real time and what they're not happy with in real time. Now, the great thing sometimes about being online is the fact that when you're doing, let's say you're doing a live event and you are looking at the amount of people that are online, you can see who's dropping, you can see when they're getting on top. And in a way, you can almost tell more or less whether your content is relevant. But unfortunately, when it comes to buying your products, sometimes by the time that you realize that there has been those drop-offs, it's a bit too late. And this is why it's important to constantly be getting your feedback from your customers, asking them, finding out from them, are they happy with the services, constantly getting testimonials, constantly running surveys where you possibly can, and ensuring that at whatever point, whether you're putting out a blog, whether you're putting out a, some kind of a post, that people are able to engage with you online. Because if they're not able to engage with you online, it becomes a problem, because you don't know how they are experiencing that. Let's think about a brand like Miss South Africa at the moment, for example. The level of activity, the interest that happened, especially in the case of Chidima Adesina, has, of course, increased the brand visibility of South African or Miss South Africa, but unfortunately it may have done so on not for the wrong reasons. Now, if you're thinking, for example, even right now with Brand South Africa, especially right now with the sports, we know because of the sports, because of what's been happening online, we are with athletics, with Olympics, with sports, with Springbok that we had over the weekend, that when all of these things are happening, it improves our brand. It distinguishes us as a country that has got great sportsmen. So, for example, if somebody wanted to ensure that they can get further in terms of the sports and they're not able to go to other countries, they can be able to look at South Africa as one of the destinations to come and do that for themselves. So that's what you want to ask yourself. When somebody is thinking about buying your brand, are you an easily accessible brand for them to reach? If you think about, for example, there was a point that Coca-Cola decided that every kilometer, I can't remember, or was it 100 meters? I think every kilometer, they wanted to make sure that there was about 100 meters. They wanted to make sure that there was a Coca-Cola fridge where somebody can be able to get a hold of that Coca-Cola, which is again about visibility. Now, in terms of brand distinguishing as well, the pricing can be a big part of that. The question of the matter is that in terms of who you're targeting, what price are they comfortable with paying for the services that you're offering? I can remember, for example, when I started a boutique that I was running in a mall, and in that shopping mall, when I was running this boutique, I had an issue with clients that would come into the brand, that would come into the store, that look at some of the stuff that we're offering, and unfortunately, some of them would be very excited to see the pricing, but quite a number of them were not happy with it until I kind of paid attention to who it is that was not happy with the pricing. And I realized that the presentation of the store was such that it looked like a premium brand, but then the people that wanted to buy a premium brand, when they walked into the store and looked at the price did not match what they were expecting. And as a result, they would think probably that these are not as high quality because they associated quality with price as they thought, and then they walk out. But then there'd be those, for example, who would look at the price and thinking, my goodness, I thought it was going to be a lot higher than what it's supposed to be. And then they would quickly buy and then they would get out. But unfortunately, the way that the store was set up, it was set up to target people who were premium, who were willing to pay premium pricing. And what we did was that, of course, we changed pricing. As soon as we changed pricing, we saw that our sales started going up. And sometimes you've got to think about that in terms of who it is that you are targeting. What price are they comfortable paying? If your price is too low, you may think that actually they'd be happy and be willing to buy more, but unfortunately, that is not necessarily the case because they associate value with price, and you need to understand. And that's why it's important, again, to constantly get that feedback. And then, of course, attracting, retaining talent. One of the other factors of a brand is that do you have the right talent? If you're saying that you're a premium brand, what kind of education and people that you're hiring do they have? What kind of quality and excellence do they have? Do you have an active way of ensuring that they stay on top of their game so that they can be able to serve their premium clients? Or if, for example, maybe it's not such premium clients, maybe it's the lower LSM. Do you have people that speak the right language, that are able to connect with people based on where they're at? If their language doesn't line up with what your typical client is going to become a problem, obviously. Okay, the other thing, we spoke about this last week already as well, but we're going to talk about it again. The importance of consistency in your branding, ensuring that you've got the right logos, that your colors are correct, that your language is correct. Again, when it comes to who you are targeting, the language that you're speaking, does that line up with them, or is it a different kind of language? If it doesn't line up with them, obviously then they're going to have an issue with that. Okay, and another thing, it's important to focus on customer experience. Customer experience is key when you want to distinguish yourself in terms of a brand. So when somebody is handling your product, whether it be, of course, the point of contact with the people that are selling your product, whether it's in the store, whether it's in the office, whether it be that they walk into your room or they walk into a customer's premises, what kind of experience are they giving your clients? It's important to have those feedback mechanisms to ensure that your clients are having the right customer experience, because the right customer experience obviously is going to, it's going to improve loyalty. It's going to improve return clients. It's also going to improve with the word of mouth. Customer loyalty is important for success for a business. Customer coming back and them going out and telling other people about your business, actually this is known as the best marketing strategy of all time. In fact, clients that I've been referred to have got a much higher percentage of buying than those that, for example, have seen your billboard or they've seen you on television, because people tend to then buy based on the three things that we've shared a couple of times. So they tend to buy from people that they like, trust, and respect. And so if it is somebody that they trust, that they like, that they respect, that is recommending that's recommending your brand, your product, then obviously they've got a high likelihood of being able to buy from you in that particular case. So it's important then to emphasize to have, again, mechanisms of, for example, referral. And so, for example, if you're running a store, if you're running some kind of a service, do you have a way of your front people that are talking to clients, asking clients if they know anybody else that can benefit from the product? Or do you actually do it? And I must confess, I'm not always very good at doing that. But it is, again, a very well proven strategy that if you ask for referral, people are likely to actually give you a referral, even when they've said no. Because sometimes, because they've said no, they may even feel bad, and when they're feeling bad, then they might be willing to give you a referral. So it's important to ask for that referral as much as possibly can. Okay. And then, of course, another way of brand value is the importance of building your social media through your own presence as a brand, where you write with your own language. But then, of course, in cases where you're able to find collaborators, there's what you call a cross branding. And a cross branding is where you find other similar types, or maybe brands that are serving your similar type of client. They may not necessarily be selling the same product as you, but they're selling the clients that buy your product. For example, if you are a car manufacturing company and then you're cross-branding with an insurance company, and vice versa. Or if you are a clothing brand, but then you are cross-branding with a cologne, with a company that sells perfume, in the same sort of category. So you got to ask yourself, in whatever industry that you are in, who else is talking to your clients? Can you sit down? Can you have some kind of a collaborative conversation about it and see if you can be able to do cross-branding on your different platforms? And then, of course, the other one that we're using lately is the issue of influencers. But ensure that you've got the right type of influencer. Make sure that they've got the right value. Make sure that they've got, when you go onto that platform, that their values, the presence online lines up with yours. Because if you're not careful, you might have an influencer that actually has some controversial statements that they've said, or that has that old views that are contrary to your brand, or even your own values, your own beliefs. So it's important that if you do decide to go the route of an influencer, that you do a proper brand audit online of that influencer. Go to the website, go to the social media platforms. Don't just be impressed by the amount of followers that they've got, because unfortunately, if they've got the amount of followers that are a lot, but they're not the right type of followers for you, it may harm your brand in terms of actually helping to improve your brand. The other way to improve your social brand is, of course, with your corporate social responsibility. Now, again, if you're going to be socially responsible, be very careful, ensure that you choose the right type of platform again. Because if you have the wrong type of platform, where you are funding, again, companies or projects or non-profit activities that don't line up with the value, that don't line up with the types of clients that actually buy from you, then that's going to create harm to a brand instead of actually improving on your brand. So it is important that you identify the right kind of projects that will help you further as far as that is concerned. Now, what are some of the things that you can avoid? Avoid inconsistent branding messaging. Don't have too many inconsistent brand messaging. Make sure that you, once you've chosen, even your small business, make sure that your colors are correct. Make sure the font is correct. Make sure that your language is correct. Make sure that you don't neglect customer feedback, especially if it's consistent along the way, and you use the customer feedback to create that consistency. Because if you fail to do that, it's important. Don't overextend your brand by over-promising things that you're not able to deliver. And then in the end, you get yourself in trouble and start getting negative review. Make sure that you pay attention to every place where there are reviews, whether it be Google reviews, whether it be Hello Peter, whatever platform online where there may be reviews. Make sure that you are responsive and you pay attention to what the constant message is about. In closing, really, a lot of branding these days is about understanding that customers are very much about, building a relationship with the brand. And that's why it's important to stay in touch with them, to get their feedback from them, and to make sure that you integrate whatever they say is the experience of a brand into your marketing strategy, into your whatever strategy that you're going to sales strategy, into your branding strategy. All of those factors are really, really crucial. There's so much more that we can talk about this, but don't forget to do a proper brand audit on your digital platforms and make sure that there is that uniformity. So much more to be said about that, but I want to thank you so much for tuning in this evening, and I hope that you have found something of great value tonight and enjoy the rest of your programming. Good evening.